Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Thomas Hugo here with us, and he's the founder of School for Performers. Very interesting guy. He's also wrote two books. He's been a millionaire before, and then also lost some of the things in the process, and started to search for himself, for answers and everything else. So, Thomas, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, Tony. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Thomas Hugo. I currently live in South Africa, and I've had quite an interesting experience as an entrepreneur, finding success at a very, very young age, becoming a millionaire at 22. And what I found from that is I had this idea of the amount of money in my head that would solve all of my problems. And the moment that I had that amount of money, it now just made my problems more because it now allowed me to fund substance abuse and addictions and things that I needed to escape a void that I had within me. And so that allowed me to, make bad decisions in terms of partnerships who I partnered with, which ultimately led to me losing all of the money in the business, basically stealing everything, and my whole life from there just collapsed. And ever since then, I've been on a journey for, in search of a deeper meaning, a higher truth of, to help me understand, first of all, why would I be the way I am, and what is the reason for everything that I went through from a young boy all the way up to an adult. And yeah, this is where the journey led me to now.
Excellent. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what you're focused on now, what you're doing now, and also a little bit more about School for Performers.
Okay. So right now I am in the process of building the business, the School for Performers, and at the same time writing these two books, basically shedding some light on harsh truths and experiences that I have come across in pursuit of my own greatness. And coming from an acting background, one of the things that I learned was how to develop a character. So the moment there's a scene, this is the movie, this is basically what's happening. You now have to develop this character with characteristics and movements and emotions and all these things. And throughout that, it made me very confused as to what I am feeling and what is the actual truth of me. And what I began to realize is that I played so many different characters that other people allowed me to play without ever really having played the true character that, comes from my authenticity, my truth. And I know a lot of people throw the word authenticity around and all of that. But what this journey led me to is understanding the relationship between the ego, the soul, and the awareness of all of the moments, all of the choices, all of the experiences that you have around you. And linking that to, us and the real world, you begin to see that everybody just plays a character. And so the School for Performers is to help individuals not necessarily develop a character of a certain goal or particular goal, but rather to develop the character that they know deep down inside they have to play in order to love themselves, feel happy with themselves, and feel content with what they are doing in this world, finding a sense of purpose. Because for a long time, I had no idea. And to some degree, there are still things that, I look at it, I'm like, is this where I should be going? And it's that constant relationship. I thought that you get to a point of purpose, and once you get there, great, problem solved. But that completely stops the process of refining. And so you will find yourself over and over and over again in points of time in a void where you will have absolutely no idea what to do with yourself, who you are, where you're going, what's happening with life. And that happens as you improve and develop yourself. And what's important is to have the next thing to anchor into that's aligned with where you're going so that you don't get lost in the process. And that's why I'm starting the School for Performers, is to help people find their own answers, not necessarily the answers that I have.
Exactly. And what's the transformation that you actually offer or help your clients with?
So it's the first thing that I notice within my own life is problems and arguments and issues in life. now have a completely different effect on how you experience them. And a big part is, let's say, for example, you want to manifest something or you're praying for something and you're asking God, like, listen, this is what I want in my life. In order to have something different, you first need to let go of everything that is. And what often happens is during that process, we prejudge the process of unbecoming because we don't understand what the process looks like of actually getting what you want. And so it's being able to now have a very different relationship with your environment, with your experiences, with things happening to you in life, where instead of looking at it from a place of this is happening to me, this is how it's destroying me, and recognizing that that is merely from the perspective of the ego. Because the ego will always find something wrong, something to fix, because the ego can always be better. But when you start understanding who you are and where you're going and what you are as a person or as a being, you begin to see that these moments and scenarios are merely moments that take place on the way to everything that you need and everything that you want. So instead of being destroyed by your experiences, you are now reassured by your experiences. You have more clarity on, okay, well, if this is happening, it's supposed to happen. But it can either happen because it's supposed to happen or it happens because of my choices. But at the end of your journey, let's say you wanted to accomplish something and you look back at your life and you're very happy with something that happened now, you realize that the mistake that you made back then was the perfect mistake that you needed to make to lead you here. So was that a mistake? Now that allows you to start forgiving yourself, to change the relationship with yourself, to see yourself differently, where you're not judging yourself based on things that you did or didn't do, but rather appreciate yourself for being whatever you needed to be back then, because that's not you anymore. You are the decision right now, right? So that was another version of you. That was a character that you played back then that you had to play perfectly in order for you to play this character now,
Exactly,
right?
and this is really good point, Thomas. Yeah, because all of us we made mistakes in the past, and at the time of making a mistake, it was maybe hurting us. It was maybe we were sort of like experiencing some negative emotions around that,
Mm.
maybe strong negative emotions and things like that. Maybe we even developed some limiting beliefs around that, and
Yeah.
number of other different sort of issues. But looking back, it's always, if you look at the current situation or current moment, and see the things that you're grateful for, and your knowledge and your experiencing and experiences, and your family and people around you and things like that, like, and you're grateful for that, then you know that, exactly like you said, you had to make that mistake,
Mm.
you had to let that opportunity go at that time, and you had to do all these things, but now you're in the right moment in this character. So tell us, explain us a little bit more about what does it mean to be in the character right now.
I would say that to be in the character right now is understanding that, first of all, nothing is real, even though we can touch everything, even though we can act re or interact with everything. It's essentially a glimpse in the moment, right? You are but a moment. You can't ever own anything because none of this is something that's actually yours. The only thing that you have is you, right? You have this body. I can choose and control this body, this attention, this intention. Everything that I am is real because it belongs to me. I am in control of that. And so being in this character is understanding that you can be whatever character you want to be, because that is the way of the ego interacting with the world, right? We
Exactly.
need to, yeah, right? So that's how you interact with the world.
Yeah,
So
and
being in the character, oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, but I agree 100%. And I think it's really important to understand that, everyone talks nowadays about quantum shifts, quantum jumps, this and that. I think exactly like you described it, the character is actually the quantum shift, quantum jump, because
Yeah.
you can decide immediately, you can write it down, you can write down on a piece of paper, like, and say, okay, this is the character that I've been until now, and those are the things that I don't like about that character, and then make write on another page, for example, this is the character that I want to be and that I'm stepping in and that I'm living from now on,
Yeah.
and all the benefits or all the good
Yeah.
sort of like things about that character, and just start living it like that. So, and
Yeah.
that's immediately a huge quantum shift. So, Thomas,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being guest today. This is all we have time for today, but I think we can definitely invite you again to be a guest, because this is so interesting. And yeah, anyone watching us, if you had any questions for Thomas or me, please ask them in the comments. Also, like and subscribe, and see you all in the next episode. All the best, and bye bye.
Perfect. Thank you, Tony.